And welcome to the Charlotte Coliseum and the Southeast Regional Semifinals between the underdogs, the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers, and the favorites tonight, the Seminoles of Florida State. Later on, it'll be the top-seeded Kentucky Wildcats against Wake Forest of the ACC, and the winner on Saturday will advance to the Final Four in New Orleans next weekend in the NCAA Championship. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Al McGuire. Al, why do we need a 45-second shot clock for this game?
Well, a 15-second shot clock will be plenty. It'll never go off in this game.
Yeah, this is going to be an up-tempo and should be an exciting game. Now, Florida State's the kind of team that could go all the way and they could stub their toe tonight. They have three exciting guards, but the one that I know that has caught your eye is the guy who doubles as the quarterback on the football team, Charlie Ward.
You're right, Dick. He's the eye of the storm. He brings maturity to a three-guard offense. He also governs the uptick, the upplay. Florida State, the Seminoles, the team that nobody wants to play.
No, they don't. And, of course, they are an exciting club. Pat Kennedy's done a great job with them. Western Kentucky is a true Cinderella. If you don't believe that, ask Seton Hall, the team they beat for Western Kentucky to get here. You like Mark Bell, who is an exciting 5'8" dynamo, and everyone says he has been the key to their tournament success.
Well, he's the top of the hill. He's a flashback to the players in the 60s and the early 70s. He stays on top of you. As a team, they trap, slash, tackle, block. They play all over you. In the second half, they should have trouble with their bench strength and experience.
And Ralph Willard, not only a protege of Rick Pitino, but one of his closest friends. Back with the lineups in a moment. Kentucky's starting lineup, their leading scorer Darnell Meade, Brian Brown, and Darius Hall are the bigger men. Mark Bell, who Al talked about, and Darren Horn, the other guard. For Florida State, Doug Edwards, the go-to guy. Rodney Dobard has a hairline fracture of the toe but will play. Bob Sura, Sam Cassell, and Charlie Ward, the three guards. In fact, Western Kentucky, really, you look at me as a guard as well. So you have three guards starting for both teams. And the officials working this first game of the doubleheader: Tom Clark, Tom O'Neill, and Don Rutledge. Florida State, the highest seed team, number 3, will be in gold. Western Kentucky, seeded number 7 in red. They are the second lowest seed remaining in the tournament behind George Washington University, and it's controlled by the Hilltoppers. Steal by Sura. And that's how the game starts. Bob Sura at 20 points a game, leading scorer for Florida State.
Always remember, Dick, defense starts right away. Offense usually takes about a minute or 2 minutes to start. So give that credit to the defense.
There's Mark Bell, 5'8", the senior from Louisville, Kentucky. He gets the ball into Brian Brown. Rebound knocked away by Dobard into the hands of Cassell. Florida State in the Sweet 16 for the second straight year. Last year they lost to Indiana in the regional semifinals.
Strictly man-to-man by the Hilltoppers.
Inside to Edwards, and Dobard is fouled. So Florida State leading 2-0 will go to the free throw line. And the foul is on Brian Brown, his first. One thing, Western Kentucky is not a deep team, as you pointed out. They can't get into foul trouble.
No, pretty much about 7 men. That's about it. They can't reach to the 8th man. So that should start showing up the second half. You got to remember that Florida State from the ACC had a tremendously tough schedule. You take Duke, North Carolina, Wake Forest, and so forth.
Pat Kennedy, back-to-back second-place finishes in the ACC, 7 years at Florida State, and he has turned the basketball program into something right on a level with the football program, and that says a lot. One free throw for Dobard. It's 3-0 Florida State. Darnell Meade finds an opening down the middle. Western Kentucky on the board.
Here comes the pressure.
And beating the press is Sam Cassell. Willard may have called a quick timeout because his team isn't getting back, and they look a bit lethargic in the opening minutes.
Well, what happened that time, they went over the top of the pressure. Nobody was protecting touchdown land. There's no free safety.
Darren Horn. He's had a terrific tournament. Darren Horn is averaging about 5 points more in the tournament than he has in the regular season. And it's 5-4 Florida State.
Let Cassell bring it up by himself. They're still trapped. It's broken. Should score.
Sura with an alley-oop to Rodney Dobar. And the Seminoles are 3 for 3 from the field in the first 2.5 minutes. Slapped away, and here is Cassell. And they're going to call a foul against Horn in the backcourt. What a pretty play for Florida State here.
Yeah, nice high arch. That's the end of it. Here is set up right now. Sura floats it in. We'll catch it next time down.
Or if not, the time after. Sooner or later. Ralph Willard, by the way, former Kentucky and Knicks assistant coach, mentioned Rick Pitino. They talk every day on the phone, had dinner last night. Childhood friends. Cassell goes up with a driver, and it's tipped in by Dobard. When Rodney Dobard gets off to the start he has gotten off to, Florida State awfully tough to beat.
Well, they say if Dobard gets 12 points, the Seminoles win.
Meanwhile, Mark Bell comes back with a 3. Watch out for the Hilltoppers, now trailing by 2. Pretty good shooting off the start.
They give you the open court. There'll be a lot of layups off the breaking down the defenses.
Cassell is wide open. And he's fouled.
That should be 3 shots. From touchdown land.
And it should be. And it will be.
And I think he hit him after the shot was released, which is a mortal sin. Brown
with his second foul. And our first substitution of the game is Brown. Sits down with 2 fouls is Cephas Bunton, a 6'6" junior from Louisville.
Brown is not a scorer. He's more a banger. Now, Bunton's a scorer. He can get it done. He's only a freshman, I believe, Dick.
And the free throw by Cassell. Ralph Willard, former coach, and he was a social studies teacher at Dominic High School in Oyster Bay, Long Island. He had to sacrifice a lot. He was a fine high school coach, and it's worked out for him at Western Kentucky.
Well, 3 of the 4 coaches today are from New York. From the Big Apple.
The only one who's not is Odom of Wake Forest. Cassell has the free throws, and Florida State leads by 5. Western Kentucky already has one of its starters, Brown, in foul trouble on the bench. They've had to go in the bench, and they don't have a deep bench. Meade finds an open Horn. Good pass. Bell at the top, and that's his second three-point basket. And there's the silly foul by Doug Edwards of Florida State.
He turns the crowd on, Dick. Watch him. He turns them on. He's a charmer at 5'8". If it's ever said about you measure a guy from his neck up, this is the fellow that should be measured from his neck up.
Tremendous inspiration to his team, and you can see it even when the whistle is blown, is Mark Bell, who will go to the line to complete a 4-point play. And a chance for Western Kentucky to come within 1. to 11.
Pressure will come in half court on this set, it looks like. So 2-1-2. Now it comes. There it is. See pressure.
Sura goes all the way in and lost the ball out of bounds. A lot of what pressure is, and you know this, Al, is the fact that it may not pay off dividends early, but if you keep on doing it later in the game, it may tire a team down.
Plus, it forces you to put the ball on the floor. And when your ball players put the ball on the floor, anything can happen. The trick in life is to pass the ball. You see that in the second game with Kentucky.
Knee has it rejected, blocked by Edwards. And inside, stepping on the line and turning it over is Bell.
Watch this block down low here. Nice block. Edwards got a nice piece of it. He's quiet.
He
never
really
smiles.
Yeah. And, you know, he's not the shot blocker on the team. That's Dobard. Speaking of Dobard. And here comes Bell out of the pack. 12-11, Western Kentucky looking to take the lead for the first time. It won't happen on the turnover. Cassell and Edwards and Doug Edwards. Good move by Cassell to wait for the big man to fill the lane.
Neither team waits for the other team to set up defensively. They come right down on your back. They fast breaks. if there is such a thing.
You're going to see turnovers, plenty of them on both sides. And if Western has a shot, they've got to create a lot of them in this game. Ward is guarding Bell. That's the matchup. Mee goes around Sura. 2 number threes. And the left-handed layup by Darnell Mee, who has been averaging only 9 a game in the tournament. That's half of what he does in the regular year. And Florida State, again, leading by 1.
Each time down, they're alternating their pressure.
And Edwards. And the follow by Rodney Dobard. And Edwards and Dobard doing a number on the offensive glass. Dobard with 7.
Western has to kind of put bodies on people underneath, box them out.
Horn misses the jumper. Bunton has it rejected by Dobard. And here is Edwards. Great play by Horn, and it's going to be Florida State ball, but Darren Horn came down court. I don't know how he got a piece of that shot.
What do you see the quick hands here on Florida State? Extremely fast. See the hand get in there? Now watching on the other end, it looks like it's going to be a basket by Darren Horn here. No, that's not. I guess now he kicks over to Edwards.
Lately, another 800 service has been promising to save you a few drops in the bucket over AT&T. What they're not telling you is that they lose 50% more 800 calls. Calls take longer to get through, and the other company is twice as likely to have a network outage. Now, when you think of all the sales you could lose if you don't have AT&T, their promise doesn't hold much water. One of the 800 reasons to choose AT&T 800 service, the best in the business.
Now at Goodyear, you can save 50% on the second tire when you buy 1 tire at the regular price. That's half off Goodyear Premium All-Season Radials for cars and light trucks. Any way you look at it, you save. Only at Goodyear now.
Are you getting the return you'll need on your retirement savings? Perhaps the one thing worse than dying is outliving your money. Call Prudential Securities.
Ball, they have a 3-point lead. Chris Robinson is checked in for Western Kentucky. Here's Charlie Ward, and he threw the ball right to Bunton. And the possession arrow will favor same way, the Seminoles. So already 7 men used by Ralph Willard, and I think he only has one other guy that he uses in these situations. Michael Fralick's a backup point guard. It's an 8-man team.
Well, he wants to keep them rested. The problem he knows is the second half, because their bench isn't that deep, and if he lets the starting 5 get tired out early, it'll be a long second half. That was a walk.
When Robinson came in, Horn went out, and on the turnover, it'll be Western Kentucky's ball. They're still looking for their first lead, trailing by 3. But the shooting has been phenomenal thus far. Many of them layups. Western at 56% and Florida State at 60%. And a pushing foul, and that will be against Darius Hall of Western Kentucky. Starting center, sophomore from Detroit, who's the leading rebounder of this team.
His idol is Rodman, so he wants to play like he's also out of Motown.
Can you blame a guy who's a rebounder to want to be like Rodman? Dennis Rodman. Western Kentucky has turned it over 5 times already in this game.
Keeping their guards down low to pop out. Go for a 3-point play.
Giselle beating Sura. And Bob Sura, who had the first basket of the game for the Seminoles, gets his second. And again, Florida State matches a 5-point lead. That's the largest they've had here. Nearly 6 minutes gone by in the half. Bell has it blocked by Rodney Dobard, and an easy 2 for Sura at the other end. And he makes it spectacular.
Now listen up, the Hilltoppers do not protect that back court with one of those 3 guards. This game will end up a blowout. They've got to keep one guard back. It's a must. They're crashing the offensive board with everybody.
Bell misses a 3. Rebound, Doug Edwards. He's averaging nearly 10 rebounds a game. Giselle fires it in the corner. And Charlie Ward. 3-point misses, but fighting is Doug Edwards. And it's going to be a tie-up, and the possession arrow favors Western. Boy, Mark Bell is the most animated guy I've seen in this tournament.
Watch this block here. All leather, kicks it down, kick out, nothing but net. Sometimes great players wait for a trailer to come down and catch him on the outside, end up getting possibly a three-point play.
Nothing but net sounds like a commercial. Michael Fralix, freshman from Fredonia, Kentucky, is now in at point guard.
Can burn you from outside.
And a good feed inside to Darius Hall. So Mark Bell is going to get a breather, and Ralph Willard resting all of his starters at one time or another here in the first 10 minutes. Florida State has doubled Western Kentucky inside. 7 minutes elapsed. First 10. Winner gets the survivor of Kentucky and Wake Forest next. Cassell forced that shot, and the rebound into the hands of Cephas Bunton, a junior from Louisville. Junior college transfer. Fralix finds Mee, and Mee is called for the offensive foul. And that'll be the 15th foul against Western Kentucky.
Hairline call, but a good call. Sam Cassell stepped in.
Western Kentucky, biggest win this season was at Louisville. That's right. And that was prior to their tremendous upset of Seton Hall in the second round of the tournament. They beat Louisville by 1 at Freedom Hall.
They lost twice to New Orleans and beat New Orleans in the Sun Belt tournament. That's why they're here.
Sura miss, tapped in by Dobar. Western is just not challenging Florida State on the offensive glass.
Yeah, but they're right in the game. They're only down 7. They got to protect the backcourt, Dick. That's the Achilles heel right now.
Fralix with the ball. Not a good shooter, but a good playmaker.
Trying to steal some time here with Bell being out.
Are you surprised this game has turned into a slower tempo affair here in the first half?
Well, I think what's happened, Western Kentucky's trying to save the energy and strength of their players, and they're eating up more time than they normally do.
So on the turnover, Florida State gets it again, and Darren Horn will check back in. To 15, a 7-point lead for Florida State is their biggest. Derek Carroll, a 6'7" freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, is in for the Seminoles. Darren Hall checked back in, as we told you, for Western Kentucky.
Clear out, let him bring it up himself. Over the top again, you're in trouble.
Carroll goes up, it's a 3. One official overruled the other. So Derek Carroll
ended up to 2, Dick. Foot was on the line. Pat Kennedy's trying to get the referee's attention, saying that was a 3.
Fralix, tap miss. Good offensive rebounding there by Western Kentucky, but they come up empty. And a 9-point lead. Florida State can go into double figures with a basket here.
All they want to do is pop it inside. And
Cassell gets inside to Doug Edwards. Basket will not count. The foul before the shot.
So if the basket doesn't count, you can't have a 2-shot foul. This will be interesting. I think the basket should count.
Mark Bell and Darnell Mee will come back into the game. So the top 2 scorers for Western Kentucky, there they are, come in replacing Fralix and Robinson. They don't want to get Florida State out of reach here with 11 minutes and 3 seconds to go in the first half, down by 9.
They're talking over there about that 3-point shot. Pat Kennedy thought it was a 3-pointer, and the ref was overruled. His foot was on the line. What's happening now is Florida State just wants to punch it inside. Don't even worry about the outside. Just keep punching it inside.
Cassell with a jumper. Sura nearly tipped it in, and Darnell Mee the rebound. So Western Kentucky down by 9. They beat Memphis State and Seton Hall, 2 tough teams in the first 2 rounds. Fighting for the rebound is Bunton. Loose ball, Sura in a pack. Flips it to Dobard, who loses it out of bounds. And now again the officials are conferring, and they say it is Florida State ball again.
Oh, see this shot is what I'm talking about. Just see all the solid ones that have made baskets. Just keep pounding it in there over and over each time down. Forget about 3-point land. That's the Achilles heel now. Kick it in there. Every time down low. Kick it in. That will force Western Kentucky into a zone.
It's been there for him. Byron Wells. Byron Wells, who suffered a sprained thumb in practice, will come in the game. Dobart and Sura will get their first breather of the game.
They'll put Edwards down low with Wells. Same system.
Ward and Cassell, and another turnover. They bump, no foul. Bunton comes down with it. Western Kentucky has missed 8 of 9 shots from the field. Still a 9-point game, and it's been stuck on that for over a minute and a half. Cassell looking inside. Derek Carroll wants it against Horn. He thinks he can beat him there, and he does. And a foul away from the ball. Derek Carroll with his second basket. He has averaged 15 minutes a game and already has 4 points.
That is the 6th foul on Florida State. Now watch the move down low. He'll fake going down, then he'll step out, get his balance, and all right hand.
Wells commits the foul for Florida State. Shooting right now, 58% for Florida State. Western Kentucky is way down after Western shot so well in the first 2 rounds of this tournament. Trap on Bell. And beats Horn with a cut. Missed the layup. Should have had that layup. Western Kentucky scoreless in the last 3 minutes and 50 seconds, but they're getting the ball back on turnover. They're just not converting. That time they do, and that's Darius Hall.
It was Darius Hall, but give credit to Darnell Meade. He was the guy that hit with the pass. They needed that basket bad. It was getting near breakout time. It's down now to under double digits again.
9-point lead with 9:13 to go. Here's Wells, has the shot blocked inside. And a fine play. I'll tell you that Cephas Bunton, who's a junior from Louisville, and he made a big block against Karnisovas of Seton Hall to start to turn the tide in the second round for Western Kentucky.
It seems that they would start him, but they say he's more comfortable coming off the bench.
Speaking of the bench, Brian Brown, who came out with 2 early fouls, is back in there now. Some guys are. Some guys rather come in after the action has been underway and see what they have to do.
Calvin Ramsey, Havlicek years ago, the great 6th man.
Carroll with a fake. Rebound by Edwards. He can bump in there. They call the offensive foul, and that'll be the 2nd personal on Doug Edwards. Leading rebounder and the 3rd top scorer for Florida State.
The mismatch in the game is the height and strength of Florida State underneath. If they keep going that way, Western Kentucky will be in for a long day.
9-point lead. It was 11. Western has never had the lead in this game.
Get the ball over to Mark Bell, and he'll work it down. There it is. Watch him make something happen. Ball to set offensive play.
Ward is on Bell. Ward stays with him. Can't seem to set many screens. They try to screen some of these guard defenders out of the way.
Nice
Bell
play.
is going to penetrate.
Beautiful fake.
5'8", doesn't matter.
Get the ball to that man.
9 points for Mark Bell, who's averaging 17 on the year. There is room for the little guy. Mark Bell, a candidate for the Naismith Award. That goes to the top player under 6 feet this year. Who else can win it?
He takes it into the trees. He took it into 7'2", Luther Wright against the Hall last week.
Edwards to Wells. And that will be Florida State's 7th, or Western's 17th foul. And so Florida State is in the bonus. Bunton with his first. Sura and Dobar got a good rest as Cassell and Edwards sit there.
Coach Ralph Willard is trying to shotgun his fouls. That means you try to spread your fouls among your first 7 players rather than one person pick up 3, 4 of them.
Byron Wells, who forever will be remembered for his 3-point basket from the corner to beat Duke in overtime, and one of the big wins for Florida State. That despite the fact he's only a 55% shooter from the line. But he'll be a hero forever in Tallahassee. Timeout, 27-19.
A tradition unlike any other. The Masters on CBS.
There are cars with advanced engineering. There are cars that make you comfortable. There are cars that are well protected. There are cars that protect their occupants well. There are cars equipped the way you want. And cars that are easy to own now. Which one should be your new car? All of the above. Chevy Lumina Euro Sedan. Test drive a Chevy Lumina Euro today at your neighborhood Chevrolet dealer.
People that first come to Subway are a little surprised we don't have sandwiches ready, just fresh bread. That's so you can see your sandwich being made and tell me if you like onions, tomatoes, or even hot peppers. I'm not a mind reader, and there's lots to choose from. If your sandwich looks as good as it tastes, that's because Subway has a training center where experts like Mr. Pilchin teaches the art of making beautiful sandwiches. He calls himself an art teacher. I guess that makes me a sandwich artist.
Ask a sandwich artist to make you a 6-inch tuna sub, just $1.89 for a limited time at Subway.
Introducing the Polaroid One-Step with a sharp new look. If you want to pick up the fun, pick up the newly styled Polaroid One-Step camera and plenty of film, because when the film runs out, so does the fun.
May I help you?
Oh, I got right through. Yeah, here's what I need.
4 tickets.
I need
2 tickets. How many tickets?
2 tickets, 7, 8 o'clock, 5.
Central Rock.
Yeah.
That will be fine. Thank you.
Right.
When tickets for the largest concert tour ever held in North America went on sale, Ticketmaster relied on Sprint's 800 service to do the job. Hey, if Sprint can handle all this, it can certainly work for you, too.
You are watching the NCAA Basketball Championship on CBS.
Florida State leading 27-19.
Pro line is 23 feet 4 inches. The college line is 19.9, 19 feet 9 inches. The difference is 3 feet 7 inches. Next year, you will not have the pro circle here. They asked for it, but next year it's compulsory. And the championship game, the championship 4, is going to be here in the Queen City of Charlotte, North Carolina. So you won't see that pro art next year.
Sometimes you see a lot of these guys in the tournament shoot the NBA 3. Here's the rebound again, Sura. So Western Kentucky under 40% shooting. Florida State's already in the bonus. A double, leaving Sura open. There's a 3, and that was an NBA 3.
Very close to it, Dick. He has tremendous range.
Bob Sura, great find, not recruited. Amazingly enough, no one seemed to want him. Brian Brown comes back with a jump shot. 30-21. Florida State leads as we wind down to 7 minutes remaining in the opening half.
Nice bounce pass, area pass.
Almost knocked away by Wells, out of bounds. The pass touched the line. Tell you, Florida State's turning over the ball a good deal in this game. 6 already. Edwards is back in. Doug Edwards. There are the turnovers. I thought Florida State had more than just 6.
Florida State in the man-to-man. They've been that way throughout the whole game.
And the reason I thought so is that they turned it over 4 times in the last 3 minutes. That's why I thought they had more than a half a dozen.
They might be starting now to force it inside too much. They might have to take 1 or 2 shots from outside. You know what's been quite quiet so far for Florida State is the great quarterback.
Charlie Ward. They haven't needed Ward. Of course, this team can go with 2 guards or 3 guards, and right now they're happy to go with 2. There's Ward getting the rebound. Right now it's Ward and Sura with Cassell on the bench. They have Robinson, Douglas, and Dobar. The runner by Ward off the front rim. Sura has the shot blocked by Button, but into the hands of Dobar. And we're going to have a foul against Florida State. That'll be number 4 on the Seminoles, and the first foul on Derek Carroll, the freshman, who suffered a stress fracture of his left foot in February.
It looks to me they might be changing their defense for the first time. Nope, they're staying man-to-man. Looking to trap more. That should be good.
Horn missed the 3. Gets the steal on the bad pass by Dobar. Bell, 5'8", tried to flip it inside, and it's last touch by the Seminoles. Kind of a wild street yard game, isn't it? The way
Playground. We call it blacktop, up and down.
I know, I'm from that area.
But in the long run, if they keep going this way, it favors Florida State Seminoles.
Cutting in is me. Would have counted had it gone.
I think every now and then Western Kentucky has to eat a little bit of the clock, come down, get their rest. I don't think the coach can be making all these substitutions anymore now.
Zura commits the foul. That's his first. And here is Darnell Meade, senior from Cleveland, Tennessee. They say he's got the quickest hands ever at Western Kentucky. He always had the defensive reputation, but he's really done a lot more as Darnell Meade. Look at all the things he has done for his team. Second in rebounds and assists, leads the team in scoring and shot blocks and three-point field goal.
He plays tall. He's 6'5".
Chris Robinson replaces Darren Horn in the Western lineup. Here's the full court press. Under 6 minutes to go in the first half. Cassell and Sura bring it up with little help from Edwards. Look how beautifully they broke that. Textbook breaking the full court press.
The full court press is not working. The half court press is working, but the full court isn't.
Dobard with 11 points and 5 rebounds. He's off to a terrific start. Bell with a runner.
You're down. You got to go back down court, Westman. You got to get down.
Sura clears it. Here comes Cassell. Bunton won't let him get in and gets the ball back. Bunton and Robinson, I'll tell you, the bench players, there aren't many for Western, but they're good. And a three-point shot by Darnell Meade, who leads the team in that department. And it's a 6-point game. It was 11 in favor of Florida State. They're coming back with under 5, about 5 remaining. And Western committing its 8th team foul, so it'll be 1 and the bonus. 1 and 1. Chris Robinson with the personal foul. Darren Horn will come back in. You know, the way Willard is substituting his team reminds me a lot of what Pete Gillen did with Xavier against Indiana. We didn't have a big bench, and he really had to spot his players.
Well, same way here, Dick. If this was a World Series, a 7-game, Florida State would win. But it's a Russian roulette. It's 1 game. And if he can keep his team fresh, they have a chance in the second half.
So they're retaping Darnell Meade off the side of the bench. So Western coming back again, down by 6, under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Western Kentucky from the Sun Belt Conference. Bell, smooth jumper from right behind the free throw line, and Western Kentucky is on a 9-2 run. And Bell with 11 leads the way.
And in come the Kentucky fans rooting for Western Kentucky.
Cassell misses the jumper. Rebound by Cephas Bunton. 4 rebounds for Bunton, and now a 4-point game. Here is Brown with the baseline jumper, and we're down to a bucket. 11-2 is the Hilltoppers here. And the red gets waved heartily here at the Charlotte Coliseum.
Okay, this time down into Edwards. There it is.
Knocked away by Horn from behind. Sura with a very tough shot from the baseline behind the backdoor.
Oh, had no right going in. That was a prayer.
11 for Sura. He and Dobard tied for the team lead in points. 34-30 with 3:45 to go. Western Kentucky, pesky team. They won't go away.
A nice little simple three-man weave. Where's the last time you've seen a three-man weave? I think I had it once in 1962.
Sura committing his second foul. Chris Robinson will go to the line. When was the first time you saw the three-man weave? First here's Sura's shot.
Yep, watch this shot. He's behind the board. He puts a lot of height on it. Goes over the backboard, and bingo.
Three-man weave. Does that go back to grade school for you?
That goes back to Blessed Sacrament, or Lady of Perpetual Help.
Chris Robinson, a 65% free throw shooter. The Western Kentucky is not a good free throw shooting team. 64% as a group. 1 out of 2 though for Robinson, and the lead is 3. But tonight Western is 4 for 5, doing a lot better.
I'm Pat O'Brien in our New York studios along with my partner Mike Francesa, joined by Digger Phelps. It is a tournament, another game going on in the Sweet 16. Indiana-Louisville, Indiana in white. Mike Francesa, what about this game?
Indiana off to the early lead, Pat, but this is the class of the coaching titans. 5 national championships between Knight and Crum, who meet for the first time ever in the NCAA tournament now. Indiana obviously the favorite, Digger, but what does Louisville have to do to pull the upset tonight?
I think if Louisville takes their big man Rozier, puts him in low post, puts Morton and Brewer on the outside to shoot the threes, that causes real problems and help defense inside for Indiana.
3 guys talking basketball here in New York. At halftime, we'll send you out there for a big taste of this game. Meantime, back to Florida State, Kentucky, Western Kentucky, Dick Stockton and Al McGuire.
All right, Pat, thank you very much. Bob Sura with a basket, but Cephas Button continues to pound the offensive glass, and third time is a charm for him. It's 36-33. But basically, if you look at Florida State, Al, it's been the Sura-Dobard show. Sura with 13, Dobard with 11.
He now has 13.
So they each have 13. In fact, Dobard has surpassed his season's average and a 5-point game. Horn, this is the weave again. Dobard careful not to be called for the goaltend, but here is Sura. Lost control of the ball, and it'll be Western Kentucky's possession with 2:36 remaining in the half. They're going to bring in Byron Wells for Doug Edwards. Edwards has 2 personal fouls, and so the substitution here for Pat Kennedy is that he doesn't want Edwards to pick up his 3rd, and Darnell Mee, the leading scorer on the year for Western, in there now.
If you're going to save a ball play in the first half, you save him after 2 fouls. If you're going to save him in the second half, you save him after 3. When a ball player gets 4 fouls, let him play.
Cassell is all over me. Me nearly traveled down the lane. Darnell Mee now with 11 points in the game. He and Bell are the leading scorers. 3-point game again, Florida State.
Donald Mee can slash, has good body control. Nice run of that time by Cassell.
7 for Cassell. He's the leader of this club, and he came into this game after a sizzling 9 for 9 3-point shooting display in the first 2 NCAA games. Chris Robinson would say, now again, the officials disagree. One official signaled a 3, the other one did not. And they're going to confer now in the middle of the court. And they rule it's a 3-point basket. So it is a 3 by Chris Robinson.
Oh, yeah, 4-8-1-3.
2-point game. Florida State in front with less than a minute and a half to go. Wells working his way in. Off the rim, and Brown clears it. Western Kentucky was down by 11, and they can tie the score here. Bell, the little 5'8" guy, got too far under, and Sura basket hanging.
Nice hands by Darnell Mee that time.
And he saves it beautifully to Bell. What a play when it looked like Sura was going to get the easy hoop. Off the front end button. Bell in a crowd. He wants to just draw a foul. Why else would a 5'8" guy go up against a 6'10"?
He committed to the air too soon.
A 5'8" against a 6'10".
Here's a 3-point controversy a little bit early. We have a bad angle from here. I'm not sure, but it looks like he's on the line, but we have a tough angle. We're seeing it from behind.
The 3 occasions when the officials have had to confer following not only 3-point baskets, but other whether a basket counted or not. Not disturbing Pat Kennedy at all, for sure. Here's Wells. Mee comes down with it under a minute remaining. And the foul. That'll be Cassell's first. 4 teams of the ACC are still left. 2 here, Florida State and Wake Forest. All the number 1s are still gone. George Washington will go against Michigan tomorrow in their first Sweet 16 showing, and North Carolina rolls on 13 in a row.
On and on. You know, the great coaches, you try to find some chink in their armor. Dean Smith, you can't find any chink. He won the Olympics, he won the NIT, won the NCAA. 13 straight years. You know what that is to get to the Sweet 16?
Darnell Mee can tie the score with this free throw. At the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we will select the Chevrolet players of the game. In conjunction with the award, Chevy will donate $1,000 to the General Scholarship Fund of both schools. Tie score. 40-40 in the first tie of the game. Western fought back. They were down 30 to 19.
6-second spread on the shot clock.
Charlie Ward, defended by Michael Fraley. And they're going to call the offensive foul. Or is it a 5-second violation? I believe it's a 5-second violation against Ward. So Western has the ball, and they can play for the last shot as Mark Bell comes back in for Western Kentucky.
They're supposed to play for the last shot, but I don't know if that's their style.
You're right.
I'm not going to second guess Willard, Coach Willard. He's done a magnificent job in his 3rd year with the Hilltoppers.
Indiana leading by 5 in their game with Louisville at St. Louis. Florida State has turned it over 8 times in the last 9 minutes to let Western back in this game.
Psychologically, be a tremendous boost for the Hilltoppers if they could win with a lead.
They have not had the lead in this game. Under 10 seconds to go. And traveling called against Darnell Mee. Maybe they did wait too long to get a shot going, huh?
It's not their style, but it's a good coaching move. And sometimes good coaching moves don't work. Quickly trying to get a fella in foul trouble out of there. Someone probably has 2 fouls. Coach Willard made a quick move. Let's see if he takes out somebody with 2 fouls.
Fralick, excuse me, Al.
How many fouls does Mark Bell have on him?
He has none.
Well, I wonder why he took him out.
Well, maybe it's better to have a little size defensively in the last possession. Final seconds, a 3-point attempt off the rim, and we have a tie at halftime. That's the end of the first half with the score. Western Kentucky 40 and Florida State 40. CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship will continue after this message and a word from your local station.
To go, let's send you out there. James Brown and Bill Raftery at the microphones. Enjoy the game. We'll see you in a minute.
11:31 left in the first half of play. A 21-21 all-ball game. Calvert Chaney at the free throw line for Indiana. He's got 7 points. Make it 8. James Brown along with Bill Raftery and Leslie Visser coming to you from the St. Louis Arena. Midwest Regional action.
And Louisville half-court offense has become important. They're not getting the open floor opportunities, JJ. Got to pound it in.
We've got a break in the action. Hoosiers on top by 2.
So you want me to grade these?
You sure? Just plain plates. I don't think you want me to do that. Try them. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. These are good. You know, they're simple. And they're crispy. Hey, I like them plain.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Kellogg's Corn Flakes. I almost flunked Kellogg's Corn Flakes.
Taste them again for the first time.
Just because you got 2.3 kids. Just because you got
an anterior cruciate ligament damage, Bill, but yet he's playing.
And playing, in the few minutes he's playing, he's trying to contribute a little bit. He's going to have to help inside just a tad on the glass. Nice step through by Rozier.
And a good block by Alan Henderson. That's what he brings to the team.
Stepping up big. Nice move by Rozier, though. pass and cut. You don't see a lot of wasted motion, and they only dribble if it's constructive.
Matt Nova, Greg Graham, Pat Graham, inside to Cheney for the slam. Over Rozier. I think that qualifies as nasty, Bill.
What a hold off, and then they pass the basketball to the correct hand. To send it in to top it off.
Not a lot of body English needed after that as Cheney breaks up the play. It goes off of Webb over to Indiana.
Alan Henderson, you mentioned in the game, able to contribute. He's not himself. He's not the offensive contributor that they would like, but I think if we just give him a couple of minutes in a game, it'll rest the big people, save them for the stretch.
And a play like that will certainly heighten his confidence. Nova kept working until he got Rozier to leave his feet. Patience.
Nova, if that were a fine bottle of wine, it would have been opened quickly. I mean, he kept screwed himself into the floor.
27-21, Indiana. You better get some wood shavings to fill in down there.
That's what you have to do. They'll go cross-court against Indiana. They help so well.
And that was an indication of how Alan Henderson cannot go up high for the rebound because of the knee.
Keith Legree has to organize, get them in the flow, look for others. That's when they're a better basketball team.
9:45 left in the first half, and Henderson with the steal. And Henderson with the travel. Well, Billy, clearly the mobility is not there, but the smartness is still there.
Yeah, mobility is lacking, but what happened when he came back? We were in town in Bloomington, and they had a little meeting about, well, you know, Henderson's struggling, he might not play. And Bobby Knight said, well, there's some rebounds he didn't get. Took a couple of bad shots, Cheney said, and threw up a couple of air balls. And Knight said, how'd we win with them?
What a smart way to diffuse the emotional down associated with the injury that took place in practice back on February 19th.
What a great job by Morton with the penetration. You've got to pinch or create problems for the defense. They've got to make decisions and then kick. And that should be Louisville's strength.
And the open shot nailed by Keith Legree.
This is the time they're trying to guard these guys.
Boy, Grant is awfully quick, spinning past the quick hands of James Brewer for the shot.
He had a spin dribble against Xavier for a kiss shot that drove Al McGuire up a notch or two.
Graham is perfect from the field, 5 of 5.
See the help, all the white shirts in the 3-second lane. You've got to make the defense go side to side. Nice post up by Rozier.
Morton kicks it out to the corner, back to Rozier.
Louisville making them work, though.
And look at how Indiana closes the driving lanes, Bill, as well as the passing lanes. They have a guy in there helping out. Under 10 on the shot clock.
Look at the help and the recover.
Outside shot by Morton. Oh. Well, he'll take it as well.
Well, that's an unexpected kiss.
I don't know if that qualifies as a kiss or a slobber. 29-26. Indiana on top, 8:05 left in the first half of play. The top seed and the top-ranked team in the country. Indiana taking on the number 4 seed, Louisville.
Louisville expending a lot of energy trying to keep up with the bumps. You've got to switch, communicate.
Now here's some patience on the offensive end by Indiana, and we talked about key being defensive patience by Louisville. Good help out. Nova in and out. Legree for the Cardinals, ahead to Brewer. And Brewer.
So now that's not a good one.
That is a 2-on-3. That's why it wasn't good.
Got to have good self-control, discipline.
All right, good game going on in St. Louis, Louisville, and Indiana. And Digger Phelps, Indiana, playing aggressive basketball tonight.
Henderson's come off the bench and given them a real lift. And I think when you look at the outside game and inside game, which Cheney's just done, that's the difference. But Louisville's just so explosive.
When you notice, Pat, that Indiana's 10 of 13 from the floor, they can't get any better than that, and they have just a 1-point lead. That bodes very well for the Cardinals.
What does Louisville have to do to win this game?
They have to up the tempo and continue to be able to hit their three-pointers, spread the floor because they are very quick.
2 great games going on as we hit the round of 16 here on a Thursday evening. Your game is knotted at 40. We'll be back later with more as we Continue our coverage of the tournament after a word from your very own local station.
CBS Sports. Charlie Ward is too much of a competitor. He has to come out of the gate the second half.
Western will try to continue to force Florida State into turnovers. That was their big hope in the first half. Ward gets it inside to Edwards. Ward, the quarterback, is wearing a shoulder brace. He injured his shoulder. Edwards' basket is good and a foul. So Doug Edwards, with only his second field goal of the game. Charlie Ward did not play until after the Orange Bowl game. He was the MVP because of a shoulder injury. Dislocated the shoulder last year in the NCAA tournament, hurt it again, played in only 15 games this year. Three-point play by Douglas, or by Edwards, and the third personal foul called against Darius Hall.
And by the way, in that bowl game, they beat Nebraska.
He's a hero, and he's going to be a Heisman Trophy favorite this time around. I think he probably has a better future in football than he does in basketball. On the turnover, Ward and Cassell. And it's knocked away. A little late pass by Ward. Otherwise, they would have had the 2-on-1 easy.
I don't think that time Charlie should have put the ball on the floor. He should have gone right over to Bob Cassell, and then Cassell give it back to him, and he would have ended up with a layup. He always split that one man back on defense with passing the ball, not dribbling.
Horn trying to knock the ball away. Still Florida State's possession. Sam Cassell. He's a man that may be looking for the outside perimeter shot. Edwards goes around. Brown didn't want to foul. The rebound by Meade. Brian Brown with 2 fouls didn't want to pick up his third, and Edwards simply missed the easy layup.
2 last days ago, Seminoles got to stay with it. You got to wait till the ball comes out through the net. You don't go down court until it goes through the net.
Dobarge rebounds, Horns miss. Here is Charlie Ward, and his first points of the game for Charlie Ward, who came in averaging 8 on the season.
Can't be a leader like that guy and not show up one of the halves. And he's showing up for this second half.
Bell has it knocked away. Pinball machine. Over the head, blind pass to Cassell to Ward, and Ward is fouled by Darren Horn. That'll be his second foul. So Florida State taking the game away from Western early here in the second half.
Ward that time seems tentative. I wonder if his shoulder is bothering him. Here's the after the interception here. They got a piece of the ball. There's the behind the head pass. Ward has the going right in here. I thought he was kind of hesitant. Waited to get hit, then just put the ball up looking for the 2-shot foul. But I thought if he kept his eye on the rim, he might end up with a 3-point play possibly.
Charlie Ward coming into the game 12 for 16 on the season from the line.
He's not a big scorer. He only averages about 7 or 8, doesn't he, Dick?
That's it, 8 points a game, but he is the really the stabilizer on a team that really is a helter-skelter style, and you need a guy like Charlie Ward. Florida State is only 6 of 12 from the line, and that's kept Western in the ball game. Hilltoppers trailing by 5. So Ward missed both free throws. Ward is guarding Bell. Bell has 11 points. 3-point shot by Horn is good. Darren Horn with his first 3-point basket. 5 3-point shots for Western.
Western's going to win. That trifecta's going to get you. Horn, Bell, and Meade.
Edwards, rebound by the little guy with the big heart. Mark Bell, 4 rebounds for the 5'8" Mark Bell. On the putback, Brown gets the basket and foul. Brian Brown, who's playing with 2 personal fouls, has a chance to give Western Kentucky its first lead of the game. Edwards with the personal foul, and that will be his 3rd in the game. Well, I tell you, the Seminoles can't shake Western Kentucky any which way.
No, not just they're starting 5. You got to get them into their bench. They make this foul, they put pressure up court.
But even Button has done a good job off the bench for Western Kentucky. Missed the free throw, so Western still hasn't had the lead. Sura and Cassell. Sura with the lay-in. Missed Brown the rebound. Here's Bell. Horn. it in, and Western Kentucky has its first lead of the game.
Charlie Ward is definitely favoring his left arm.
Steal, nearly. Ward, a blind scoop. Dobard is fouled. This game has no rhyme or reason anywhere on the floor, including under the boards. Forget about the kind of passes you'll see, the kind of shots you'll see go up there. Wild, Al.
Well, this is the way Western Kentucky plays it, and also Florida State. Florida State's not like Michigan. They get a lead, and then they're dangerous. Without a lead, Florida State plays much better. Now watch this sequence here. It's just balls bouncing all over the place. He tries a dunk, doesn't get it. Here comes the foul.
God, would you like your Marquette teams to have played like this? I mean, they were pretty exciting. But,
No, I never wanted you to run up and down the court. A fast break, I wanted you to take it yourself and dribble down. Don't pass it.
Brian Brown with his third personal foul. So Brown and Hall, the two front court starters for Western Kentucky, have 3 fouls apiece. Dobard misses the free throw.
That wasn't even close, Doe. Let's make this one.
66% from the free throw line. Florida State 7 of 14, only 50% from the stripe. You add the turnovers, the bad free throw shooting. Western Kentucky, there you see it, leading by 1.
Nice cut.
Cutter is me, swatted away by Rodney Dobard. And it's Florida State's ball, last touched by Darren Horn. But this is an entertaining game between these two hopefuls trying to get into the Southeast Regionals final.
Edwards has to also get into the game for Florida State. I look for him this time to punch it down to him. There it is.
Against Brown with 3 fouls. Rebound by guess who? Mark Bell. That's his 5th rebound of the game. Lost it, however. Brown gets it back. And the lay-in missed by Brown. Me gets it and is fouled at the line. This game is too quick. I've done NBA before, but I'll tell you, I'm seeing too many possession changes inside the paint. Foul is on Bob Sura. That is his 3rd personal foul. So Sura and Edwards each have 3 for Florida State. Brown and Hall 3 for Western. And me, a 70% free throw shooter on the line, shooting 2.
He's a star not only offensively, but also defensively.
He had that reputation before they found out he could do a lot of things with the ball. 1 free throw, and me with 14 points leads Western. 48-46, Western Kentucky. Cassell with a driver off the baseline, put back in by Doug Edwards.
Here's that 3-man move out front. Reset. Coach is calling the play on the side. See him hold up his hand. He's calling a 5.
Open jumper for Brown.
They don't want him to shoot. That was bad shot selection. Let the stars do the shooting, Mr. BB.
He says if it's there, I'll take it. Cassell goes in. Wide open Sura, but a blocking foul. Ball against Western Kentucky, and that may be the 4th foul on Brian Brown, and it is. Brown has fouled out 8 times this year, more than any other Hilltopper, and he has his 4th right now. Timeout with 15:52 on the clock. Throw line. That's the shooting. Me and Dobard the leading scorers. What about the tempo of this game and the way these teams are playing this, Al?
I personally think that FSU should now start playing off the shoulder. Stop trying to make it a track meet because you're playing right into the hands of the Hilltoppers. Now, if you don't have the fast break, I'd set up half court offensively. Oh, he made a mistake. He thought it was illegal. He could have picked up that ball. The ball wasn't touched in the front court. He fell asleep.
Rodney Dobard is pointing to himself. And like Manute Bol is saying, my bad, my bad. That's what Manute Bol would say. So Western gets the ball. They roll it in low. Hall misses. And they will call offensive interference on the cylinder. Cephas Bunton, by the way, went in for Brian Brown, who went to the bench with 4 fouls.
And watch Bunton now. He comes in. The ball's still inside the cylinder. That's Bunton there. Good call. You cannot put your hand in there. The cylinder goes from where the rim is up to the ceiling, the roof. Nobody can put your hand in there while the ball's in that cylinder.
Giselle and Edwards have combined for less than 33% shooting in this game. Sura off the front rim. Here's Edwards with the follow. Doug Edwards now with 9 points. Florida State, by the way, is the only team in the country with 3 players averaging 18 points a game. And 2 of them are delivering right now. Indiana opening it up against Louisville in the Midwest region. 50-48, Florida State.
Nice spacing by Western Kentucky this time. They should end up with a good shot.
16 on the shot clock.
He keeps his dribble alive. Nice turn.
He went around 2 guys, lays it in. You know, they're afraid to bump him. They don't have a chance to block his shot. He has gone up in the land of giants all night tonight, and Bell has 13.
Biggest thing for any guard, no matter what your size is, always keep your dribble alive. That means don't pick it up.
Mee stays with Cassell. You mentioned his good defensive play. Edwards goes in and will go to the line to shoot. So they're going more to their go-to guy, Doug Edwards, and the personal foul is on Darius Hall, who picks up 4. So they're going to bring in Chris Robinson right now. And Hall isn't going to go out, but Darren Horn. So right now, Hall will stay in the lineup with 4 fouls. There he is, a sophomore from Detroit and the leading rebounder on Kentucky, Western Kentucky. Once again, the foul troubles at the line continue for Florida State.
Missed his first one, should break the line, then come back up to take a second.
1 out of 2 for Edwards. 1-point lead for the Seminoles, who are the 3rd seed, 24-9 coming into this game. Their 5th NCAA appearance in 6 years.
Mike Bell says, hey, clear it up, let me penetrate, I'll dish off, I'll drop off. Mark Bell does it each time. Watch him dish off. There it is.
Good feed in low to Mee, but he was triple teamed.
Doesn't get disturbed. Resets his 4 running mates.
So Western content to play the half-court offense and will probably press if they get the basket. There's Mee. Let's see if they press. No, they don't. They're going back. This has not been their style this year. Western by 1. Steal by Cephas Bunton. Robinson with a short jumper. And it's a 3-point lead for Western Kentucky.
Dick, Charlie Ward is definitely hurt. He can't do anything with that left arm. See the way he's holding it even when he's dribbling.
Good feed inside, and it goes in for Rodney Dobard. Dobard, the all-time leading shot blocker for Florida State, is having a big game offensively, and it's a good thing because other guys are quiet for Florida State. Mark Bell feeds inside, and rolling off the rim, Darius Hall will go to the line. Remember, he's playing with 4 personal fouls.
You see Darius Hall and ball didn't go in, Dick. Looked like he had the shakes. Ward is, he's hurting, Dick. This guy's hurting. There's no doubt. I'm surprised they even still have him out there.
Doug Edwards has 4 fouls, and he remains out there. So Pat Kennedy's big man, the 3rd leading scorer and top rebounder, and he's going to go to the bench now as Byron Wells replaces him. Edwards with 10 points and 4 personal. Tough man for Florida State not to have at this juncture.
They need him when it gets under 10 minutes. He'll be back.
Western Kentucky is leading Florida State by 1 point. And Darius Hall is on the free throw line, having missed his first free throw. And it's a 2-point lead with 12:47 to go in the second half. Dick Stockton, Al McGuire. Here at the Charlotte Coliseum, we were tied at 40 at the half. After Florida State led by 11 at one time, they've been a little cocky when they came out tonight.
Well, I think now they're setting up better the half-court offense. They don't have the fast break. They're being a little bit more patient.
Charlie Ward, the Heisman Trophy favorite, obviously hampered by the injured shoulder. Ward has scored only 2 points and has 2 assists.
Cassell should go one-on-one right now.
He leaves it behind Ward with 8 seconds on the clock. And Mark Bell trips him going in, and Bell looks to take the worst for wear on that one.
Their knees hit, and that's just kind of sore when you do that.
That'll be the first foul on Bell.
There's a spin. Now watch right there. See where the 2 knees hit?
That was Western Kentucky's 16th foul, so the next foul will be 1-1 for Florida State. Sura will inbound. Bob Sura tonight has scored 13 points. And on the turnover, there's been plenty of those in this game. Florida State has turned the ball over 14 times themselves. Western can open up its biggest lead. Darnell Mee, their leading scorer. Wild shot. We've had a lot of those too. And Chris Robinson got the rebound. It'll be Western Kentucky's ball.
What?
You know, make it so that this team could practice. But Florida State in their own right had a lot of injuries this year. They lost Chuck Graham and Andre Reed. And we've mentioned Charlie Ward's injury problems and Dobar's hairline fracture of his toe.
But you know what, Dick? I never call a team a Cinderella team until they get to the Elite Eight. Now, if Western Kentucky gets to the Elite Eight, they then have a glass slipper, and they got to go to bed before 12.
Just like we do. Charlie Ward goes to the bench. He's had a tough game tonight. 2 points. And Derek Carroll replaces him. So Cassell and Sura, the 2 guards, and Byron Wells, sprained thumb and all, gets the basket to tie it at 55 with 11:30 on the clock.
I'm surprised they stay so long with Charlie Ward. He was hurting out there the whole evening.
Mee, short, Robinson, foul. Chris Robinson, who is not a good free throw shooter at 65%, will try it again. With the score all knotted up, and the personal foul will be on Wells, his second. 4th team foul against Florida State, and Western Kentucky has 6, so the next for Western will result in the 1-1 for the Seminoles. Here's Chris Robinson from Macon, Georgia. Well, a lot of outstanding players have come from that town.
You know, I used to coach at Belmont Abbott College, and we went down to Macon, Georgia, to play a college down there called Mercer. A long time ago.
Sure you beat them every time.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have booked them.
Yeah, on the road for sure.
Good rebound by Wells.
1 free throw. Western leads by 1. Sura pulls up for the 3. Out of bounds, same way. Western Kentucky knocked it out of bounds. It'll be Florida State's ball. Sura will inbound. They got Sura, Dobard, Wells, Cassell.
Edwards is not playing because he has 4 personal fouls.
And Carroll is the 5th man for Florida State. And they're going to call the offensive foul against Sura, who has been scoreless in this half, and that's 4 on Bob Sura. And I have to say this, Al, I mean, you've seen these teams practice and you see them play this year. Florida State's in trouble here. 11:03 to go, and their big guys are in foul trouble or not producing.
They're statistically in trouble with the 1 guy, the quarterback, being hurt, and 2 guys with 4 fouls.
Sura has not scored this half. Edwards and Sura each with 4 fouls. And a little starch has been taken out of the Seminoles. Long-range shot by Robinson misses. Dobard. Where would they be without Rodney Dobard's 16 points? But Western gets it back.
2 careless with the ball. Seminoles that time.
That's been their Achilles heel all game. And the bank shot by Mee. 58-55. Florida State has turned it over 16 times in this game.
Good credit to their coach. Willard kept the pressure on.
I think the tenor of this game has gone in favor of the Red. 58-55, nearly halfway through. Shot missed by Cassell, and the rebound taken down by Darius Hall, who's playing with 4 fouls.
If they score this time, they got to put Edwards back in. Can't lose the game with 10 minutes to go in it. Come back in with your star.
Down by 3. Here is Bell, gets a tip, deflected into the hands of Dobard. Wells got a hand on it. 2-on-1 break. Sura goes up.
Sura,
and
you
called
got
for the block. Yeah.
No, you got to kick it off. You got to kick it off that time. Where you going? You're going solo.
He had Derek Carroll for a stuff.
On the right-hand side, you got to kick it off. Give it to him. Look at him. He's right there. Give me the ball.
Maybe he's frustrated that he hasn't scored this half. In any event, he goes to the line. The foul is on Darnell Mee, his second, and that is the 17th foul against Western Kentucky. So from now on, Florida State cheats 1-1, and it may be 2 before you know it. When they get to 10. Florida State from the free throw line. 8 for 17, Al.
Western Kentucky does this to me. They put you to sleep, then you get frustrated. Then Bell gets the ball in his hand and drives you crazy.
18 and a foul against Florida State. 8 for 18, 16 turnovers. Sura sits down. He'll be replaced by Charlie Ward, and Wells has his 3rd foul. This is a total frustrated Florida State team right now, frankly, with Sura not scoring in the half. Ward with 2 points, Cassell with 7.
Well, the guys from Bowling Green do it to you.
Yes, yeah. They're making them that way. Rick Pitino right now has to be pretty proud of his team. I know he's got to be concerned with his own game coming up with Wake Forest. Quite an understatement, but he's so proud of what Ralph Willard has done.
Weston, you can't go into a semi-delay game here. That's not your style. Dance with the girl you brought to the dance. Keep it bubbling if you want to stay in there.
Bell the bubbler. He's the guy for it. Bell goes up. Lost control of it. Wells has it taken away. Look at that hustle by Mark Bell.
A belly whopper.
Only the youngest of 18 children. You think he's got a lot of supporters here tonight?
Looks like he was diving for food at the table with 18 kids that time. Here he goes for the food. Dive for it, pal. Get it. There it is. Get that last donut.
Championship on CBS.
Western Kentucky by 3, and Doug Edwards, playing with 4 fouls, has come back in the lineup for Florida State. Michael Fralix is in as a point guard defender. The offense, Edwards the cutter, and Edwards with 12 points. Florida State only 9 points and 5 turnovers in the last 6 minutes and 20 seconds. Robinson. Rebound, Hall. Darius Hall couldn't get it over the rim.
Mr. Chippy got frustrated and fouled on the way down.
And if it's on Hall, it'll be number 5. He's out.
So we said at the top of the show, what Western has to watch out for is fouls and short bench.
But it's not on Hall, it's on Robinson, his 3rd. So Hall stays in the game with 4. And 1-1 at the line is Rodney Dobard. Florida State has Mark Bell and Darnell Mee come into the game, the top 2 scorers. Florida State from the free throw line. 8 of 18. Under 50%. 8 of 19. Missed the front end. Darnell Mee, the rebound. Western leads by 1. 8.5 to go. Darren Horn. Mee for 3. He's their leading 3, and that's his 2nd of the game. 21 points, and the biggest lead for Western Kentucky right here, 4 points.
Got to get the ball to Edwards. There it is.
Basket good and the foul. Go-to guy, and they've got to go to him now.
Every time down. And if he's not there, spot up with Cassell. Here he is. He gets low, gives a little bit of a fake, gets inside, can finish up with a 3-point play here.
Mee with his 3rd foul and the 19th foul against Western Kentucky. They miss another free throw. 8 for 20. I don't remember a game in which a team was as bad from the line.
And now they're missing the front end of one-on-one sticks. They're not getting it from now on. But every foul that Western commits, Florida State gets a 2-shot foul.
Almost a moot point. That's Horn. He's been a steady Eddie out there, number 21 for Western Kentucky. Good tournament thus far. Bell, the spark plug, or maybe the fire plug. There's Meade with a wild three-point shot off the glass. Dobard with the rebound. That's 12 for Dobard. He has 16 points in the game. They didn't have his offense. Florida State would be well out of this game. Cassell. Carroll with a good first step, reaching in, and a foul against Mark Bell. And that will be his second. And now, as you mentioned, Al, it'll be 2 shots at the line for Florida State.
One thing I think, and I'm not second-guessing any coaches because they know their own business. I make my statements before I see something out there. But it's too early for Western to start working the clock. There's over 7 minutes left, and it's not their game.
Darius Hall sits down, and Brian Brown, who has 4 fouls, is in there. Look at the free throw shooting for Florida State, 8 of 20.
You usually shoot much better when you know you got an automatic 2 shots each time up there. There's not that much pressure.
Carroll makes the front end. I remember an NCAA tournament final before they had the shot clock when Ed Jucker of Loyola went into the freeze a little too early and played half court, and not the same thing because they weren't a running game, and they lost their momentum and lost to Loyola of Chicago. Cincinnati Bearcats lost.
Watch pressure now off those foul shots. They should put pressure up court. Only half the team's putting pressure. You can't put pressure unless the whole team puts pressure. Can't be one man, has to be 5.
61-61 with 7 minutes remaining. And a foul against Cassell. Cassell has averaged 25 points last weekend in Orlando. Tonight, he has hit only 2 of 9 shots from the field. So another Florida State top operative not coming through tonight.
They're in a 1-on-1, and this kid would like nothing better than if Kentucky would win because he's out of
Lexington. That's right. Here is Darren Horn, who's the best free throw shooter on Western, and shooting 88% in the tournament. That includes the Sun Belt before the NCAAs got underway.
He did a great job defensively under Harris against the Hall. Unbelievable job in the second half.
Hey, they beat Memphis State by 3 and Seton Hall by 22. I don't know how many teams can say we beat 2 solid opponents like that in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, but also they beat Louisville at the buzzer.
Western by 2, just under 7 minutes to go, second half, and here's the trap.
Yep. New defensive space shown here.
Cassell. And Bell gets the rebound. He had a man open down court, and didn't go to him. He goes to Brown. And the foul will be called. Let's see if it's Cassell again. Yes, it is. Sam Cassell with his 3rd foul. No.
No, I think they called that on Mark Bell.
You're right. Three on Mark Bell.
Well, it could have been a 4-point spread. Now, if this kid can bottom these 2 out, we got a all tie. He committed to the air too soon. He knows he's out of control. He had no place to go, so he tried to run over somebody.
He had Darnell Mee open down court. So here's Charlie Ward. Ward is 0 for 3 from the free throw line. Florida State nearly 70% on the year. They're at 45% tonight. And it's a 1-point Western Kentucky lead. With all of Florida State's problems, they are now hanging in there against Western. We were talking about Western was hanging in against Florida State early.
Okay, Western just play a normal game now and go for it. There it goes.
Trying to trap me in the corner. Florida State with 17 fouls. Western Kentucky already with 10. Brown.
They don't want him to shoot.
Out of bounds. A good break for Western Kentucky. They caught a break there.
Florida State staying in man-to-man.
And a timeout with 6 minutes and 11 seconds remaining in the second half. Has 2 timeouts remaining. Western already in double-digit in fouls. Florida State 1-1 for Western, and the possession arrow favors Western Kentucky.
Mark Bell might have a job getting the ball in. No, got it in. Now give it back to him. They'll set up. Got a fresh clock. Here's a 3-man weave from yesteryear.
And Bell, also from yesteryear, a 5'8" point guard who's playing in the land of 6'10", 6'11 players.
The only thing he doesn't have is the 2-hand set shots.
Maybe he has that too out of mothball. Just got it away before the 5-second violation, and Darren Horn hits the jumper. Western Kentucky leading by 3 now. They are shooting under 40%, amazingly, and leading in the ballgame. You don't see that too often.
Get down low, give the ball to Edwards and forget about it.
Edwards working in, and the call the block. Remember, Edwards is playing with 4 fouls, and the blocking foul against Cephas Bunton. And now they say it's Bell with his 4th foul. So Bell was reaching in. He better watch that with 4 fouls.
If I was Western at this moment, the next time down, I would take Edwards down low and try to have him foul out of the game.
Edwards is 2 for 5 from the free throw line. Boy, this is more than just a free throw shooting slump for a spell of the game. This is from start to finish.
Well, one guy misses, the next misses, like measles, missing foul shots.
12 for 26 from the free throw line, and a 2-point Western lead with less than 5.5 minutes to play. There's the free throw shooting. Bell playing with 4 fouls. A lot of players out there with 4 on both sides.
That famous 3-man weave again. The 3 guys can score.
Long rebound into the hands of Charlie Ward as Darnell Mee misses. He has 21. He's leading Western. Chance to tie it up for Florida State. Cassell. Rebound. Edwards ties the score. Doug Edwards with 17 points. 15 of them this half.
This time down, why don't you try to get Edwards out of the game? He's guarding Bunton. Give the ball to Bunton.
Mee trying to slice in off balance, off the glass. Ward tips it to Carroll. So it's Cassell, Ward, Carroll, Edwards, and Dobars for Florida State, looking to regain the lead.
You want to win, don't get fancy. Give the ball to Edwards.
Edwards has had a hot second half scoring-wise. Here's Dobard, who had a big first half. Edwards on the other side. Fights his way in, and a foul against Western Kentucky.
That's the first time I've seen Edwards ever show any emotion. Very seldom does he show any facial emotion. He's a very quiet person.
Foul is on Cephas Bunton, his 2nd personal foul, and Edwards will go to the line. Ralph Willard trying to get Western into the regional final. And Edwards with 15 of his 17 points in the second half with 2 shots.
Looks like we got ourselves a photo here, a wire job. This guy's no showboat. He's all business.
12 of 28. They have made 12 of 28 from the line. Western Kentucky now can take the lead. Bell gets free, a 3-point shot. Brown fighting for the loose ball, but loses it.
Good hustle by Brown that time. He's a banger underneath.
On the floor, we have Brown with 4. Mee has 4 personal fouls, or 3, and Hall with 4, and Bell with 4. There's the shooting story from the line.
1-4 setup.
3 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. Tied at 65. Here's Edwards.
I thought he walked.
So did the officials. There's no doubt that Pat Kennedy is going to one man down the stretch of this game. The only man he can depend on.
Right now, and I think he's going to probably have, if it stays this tight, he's going to have to give Sura another shot out there because Bobby can bury it.
Western has missed 10 of its last 12 from the field. So they're in a slump shooting-wise. Let's see if Bell can break it. No. Saved nicely by Edwards into the hands of Ward. Carroll. And Florida State leads by 2 as we get close to 3 minutes to go. And Bob Sura is off the bench, ready to come in.
Yeah, I figured they had to put him in. You got to go with the hand that got you here.
First lead for Florida State since they were up 51-50 early in the second half.
Now get it over to me. Get it around to me. Me. Get it to me.
Willard is pointing to me.
Yeah, get it to me. Here's the man. He'll do it. There he goes. Oh, nice bounce pass out. Give it back in. Inside, outside, back in.
Horn trying to split the defenses.
Oh,
great shot. Darren Horn on the run with 13 now to tie it at 67.
We're in a chess game. Weston set for a trap, but as soon as it comes over half court.
Cassell is hit. That may be against
Chris Robinson, I think.
No, it's on me. It's his 4th foul as Bob Sura with 4 comes back in the game. So going out of the ball game is Derek Carroll, replaced by Bob Sura. Sura scored 13 points, has not scored in the second half. Cassell is a perfect 3 for 3 at the free throw line.
Plus, he led the ACC in steals this year. Didn't get it high enough, son.
Al, I hate to say this. Is there a lid on that basket? Come on.
Well, it's on both ends. Weston's missed a lot of chippies, too.
No, but not as many as this team. This team's going to the line 30 times. And they made 13.
I think it's more a lack of concentration than it is the rim on the basket or the lid on the basket.
I think so, too. 68-67, Florida State by 1.
And we're in crunch time. We're almost under 2 minutes. That's prime time in college basketball, especially the NCAA crown.
That means Bell and me should be the big horses for Western, and Edwards and Sura for Florida State.
Western's taking it down too low, and then they have to put up a Hail Mary shot.
15 on the shot clock. Here is Horn. He misses a three-point shot. Rebound by Dobard. 13 rebounds for Rodney Dobard. If Florida State wins, he'll be the not-so-quiet hero of this team. They didn't expect a lot from him in this game.
Got to move, 5 count. They shouldn't have a 5 count in college ball. Just put the clock at 35 and forget the 5 count. They wanted to take off some ticks. I wouldn't take off too many. Go for 2-for-1 possessions. Shoot right around now and you get 2-for-1 possessions.
Cassell gets right around me, blocked. And they call the foul on Darnell Mee, and he's out of the game. So Western Kentucky has lost its leading scorer, Darnell Mee, who was fouled out with 21 points.
Didn't look like he caught him above, but I think he caught him with his body.
He's a senior from Cleveland, Tennessee. Hopefully for Western, it won't be his last. Darnell Mee, the leading scorer for Western Kentucky, is fouled out of the game with 21. He's a senior. And Western, with 1 minute and 1 second left, trailing by 1, and free throws coming up.
They lose a lot with him going out. He deflects balls all the time, Dick. Every time down, he'll get his hand on the ball and deflect it.
There is the story with the foul trouble. Hall, Brown, and Mel have 4. Mee is out of the game. Edwards and Sura with 4 for Florida State. And Chris Robinson, the freshman from Macon, Georgia, has replaced Darnell Mee in the lineup for Western. So Sam Cassell is on the free throw line. He's hit 4 of 5 from there tonight.
He's usually very good under pressure. In the last 2 years, he's won 5 games for the last shot. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him bury these two because he's concentrating right now, I believe. Yep. Now they need this one here to get the one possession. They need a 3-point spread. So for Western to win, they need have to get the ball twice in the next minute.
Each team still has 2 timeouts remaining.
Oh! It did a lap around the rim and came out.
And Chris Robinson the rebound. So the lead is 2 now. There's the clock. 36 on the shot clock. Bell misses a 2-point attempt. Robinson gets the rebound, puts it back up, and ties the score.
I'd call a timeout when he brings it over half court and set up for the last shot. They can work it down to 6 seconds.
And a timeout, you're right, Coach. You've been there before. Play for the last shot. They have 1 timeout left. Western has 2, and the possession arrow favors Western Kentucky.
New defense out there. Nice move by the coach. Western's playing a trap and zone. Good timeout.
Florida State calls its last timeout. Sam Cassell barely called it at the midcourt line, and they are out of timeouts with 24.9 remaining.
Hands, then spread out.
Florida State is out of timeout, so if Western can bottle them up, they can't call for the break. And there's the tip away. It's still Florida State's ball with 15.8 seconds on the clock. Florida State has shot 14 of 32. That's 44% from the line. So if they're fouled, could be an adventure. Edwards very nearly lost it. He's trapped.
Plenty of time left. Wait about 4 more seconds. Wait now 3 seconds. Now go, young man. I would go right now. Go, young man.
Cassell.
There he goes.
Lost his footing. The shot off the rim, and the shot from the corner, no good. We go to overtime.
OT. Beautiful college game.
Ralph Willard's Western Kentucky Hilltoppers Cinderella will go past midnight in this Southeast Regional semifinal. Kentucky, the second lowest seed remaining in the tournament behind George Washington University, going in overtime against favored Florida State. Western is 1-2, Florida State 2-1 in overtimes this year, including a tremendous victory against Duke.
Big thing that's hurting Western Kentucky, you got to remember that their key scorer, Donnell Mee, is fouled out.
Mee is fouled out, but there are a whole host of players who are playing on the floor with 4 personal fouls. Keep in mind that each team gets 1 additional timeout in the overtime session. There's the foul trouble story, so there are 5 players with 4. Mee is out of the game. Western will have 3 timeouts during this 5-minute session. Florida State only 1. So that is an edge for Western in a big way, with only 1 timeout for Florida State in a lot of time.
And I think if Western can go back into the flow of things and speed up a little bit, not coming down each time and eating 25, 35 seconds off the clock, they get so close to the 45 seconds that they end up putting up a circus shot.
They will jump center. Rodney Dobard will be jumping against Darius Hall. In the second half, by the way, Bob Sura and Sam Cassell were 0 for 9 from the field for Florida State. Controlled by Edwards. Edwards spins in and gives the Seminoles the lead. 19, and the leading scorer for Florida State, Doug Edwards.
That was a tremendous move for a guy that's 6'9".
Senior out of Miami. Slicing in and a foul.
That might be all she wrote.
And it will be for Edwards. So Doug Edwards is fouled out of the game. The senior is out of there. 19 points for Edwards. Matched his season's average at 9 rebounds, which also was the same as what he achieved during the season.
Every time he plays, Dick, he can pencil in 18 points, 10 rebounds, just about every game.
And a hand for the Florida State fans who came up from Tallahassee for this one. And Derek Carroll will replace him in the lineup.
He's a 6'7" freshman. Tough place for a freshman to come in. but now it gets to be the 3 guards games.
On the free throw line will be Cephas Bunton. During the year was a 61% free throw shooter, and this is his first trip to the line tonight. So there is pressure on the junior from Louisville, who's done a good job off the bench for Western.
He plays taller than 6'6". He's extremely long arms, big hands, and should concentrate in this one.
Western Kentucky, first appearance in the NCAA tournament since 1987. They've been in the Final Four one time, so has Florida State. Now all they want to do is just get to the regional final.
And become the first Cinderella, the true Cinderella.
71-70, Seminoles lead. Florida State extends their defense. Charlie Ward finds an open Derek Harrell. And there's Mark Bell with the rebound. Little Mark Bell at 5'8" has 8 rebounds tonight.
Boy, Derek Harrell, you just come off the bench, you jog down once, you take a shot from a deep corner. I guess I'm in another world.
He was open. To say I was wide open. Why not?
Man-to-man. Western has gone, Florida State's gone all the way man-to-man.
Funny how this game started out end-to-end, and it turns out to be a half-court game, and it's unable to be controlled by Darius Hall out of bounds. It'll be Florida State's ball. .30 turnovers in this game.
So both these teams, if they lose, can walk like kings, especially Western Kentucky.
Sura hits a 3-point basket. His second of the game and his first field goal of the second half and the overtime session. Florida State is up by 4.
Sometimes Sura gets 30 points. The next time he plays, he struggles to get 8.
Here's Bell working against Ward.
Good no call by the ref that time.
Mark Bell now with 15 points in the game, but Florida State with the ball leading by 2. 3:20 remaining. We're in the first overtime session. The winner of this game will face the survivor of Kentucky and Wake Forest coming up next in the other Southeast region semifinal.
Keeping the 3 guards' hands on Florida State's end. Bob Surratt wants the ball again. He scored once. He'll go again. Here he goes.
Surratt gets in and is fouled and will go to the free throw line.
He's not a good free-throw shooter.
He's 0 for 2 tonight. 4 on Robinson. We're in overtime here at Charlotte. Florida State leading 74-72. Seminoles have had a horrid shooting night from the free throw line. Bob Sura, who has just 1 basket in the second half, makes 1 out of 2. But the big story, Florida State's problems from the line, and Western Kentucky down by 3.
Every foul's a 2-shot foul for Florida State.
Chris Robinson, who has 4 fouls. Darnell Mee, the leading scorer for Western, fouled out of the game in the second half.
That's goaltending, man.
Rodney Dobard called for goaltending and credit Darren Horn with the basket. Doug Edwards fouled out for Florida State in overtime.
Ball's up there, hits it, seen it. It's on its way down. Excellent whistle.
Seminoles by 1. They have the ball with 2.5 to play.
New defense, 2-3 zone. First time today.
Florida State has seen a variety of defenses. They have 1 timeout, remember, in the session.
Probably take another 10, 15 ticks off the clock. No, he won't.
Cassell hits a 3-point basket. So Sura and Cassell, ice cold in the second half, have hit key hoops in overtime.
And we're just going under 2 minutes.
Mark Bell, the 5'8 Dynamo, still running things, playing with 4 fouls. There's so many others on the floor for both teams.
You got to move around, Western. You got to go for the basket. You need 2 possessions to win or go OT again, second overtime.
Charlie Ward gets a hand on that pass. Fortunately for Western, it ends up in their hands, but they have 15 on the shot clock, trailing by 4. Horn working his way in. Foul, basket good, off the glass.
Wow, that shot was missed by so much. Here comes the kick out. Spins around, does a 160. Now watch where it hits up in the glass. And he's saying, wow.
Cassell with his third foul, and Darren Horn, who averaged 9 points a game in the regular season, has 17 points in the game, 15 of them coming after intermission. He's perfect from the free throw line. Misses it. Ward the rebound. That was a tough miss. Florida State still leads by 2. Less than a minute and a half on the clock in overtime.
In the same situation as they were at the end of the game, Florida State, I'd go for the shot early, so it's 2-for-1 possessions. You got to figure 45 seconds and 45 seconds. If you take the shot around 55 seconds to go, you get 2 possessions. Only allowing Western Kentucky 1 possession. Hey, 5 count there. You better move a little bit. I wouldn't back off on that, Mark Bell.
Charlie Ward, double trap. Throws the ball away. Into the hands of Bell with Ward back. Let's see what Bell does with it. He finds Robinson and an offensive foul.
Yes, he charged. He wouldn't have got a charge. He didn't turn his back.
Ralph Willard is furious off the bench for Western Kentucky. He's kicking everything in sight.
Well, we all see it through different eyes, but watch as it gets in tight, he turns his back. I think they went in face up. He's turning the back.
Good
and that
call.
is absolutely a good call.
And Mark Bell has fouled out of the game with 15 points and 8 rebounds to go along with 4 assists. The 5'8" senior from Louisville, Kentucky may have played his last game and being consoled here by his teammates.
If you promised that I could have a Mark Bell on my team every year, I'd still be coaching, and I retired 15 years ago. I'm not kidding. College basketball is run by the guard. You give me a kid like this, and I can climb the Matterhorn.
And Ralph Willard very nearly did. Fouled out, 78-76. And an ovation for Mark Bell. And Charlie Ward will go to the line. Michael Fralix, a freshman point guard, will replace Bell in the lineup. And here is Ward, who is only 1 for 4 from the line. So it's not lights out yet for Western Kentucky.
Yeah, no, of course not. Plenty of time left, but he gets 2 shots automatically because it's after the 10th personal.
Ward was scoreless at the half and only 1 assist. And Pat Kennedy instructing his defense. 3-point lead with just under 54 seconds remaining in this overtime session. Cool customer Charlie Ward gives Florida State a 4-point lead. Fralix with the ball.
I'd overplay him in 3-point land. I wouldn't foul down low. I just hold my arms up.
Horn goes back to Fralix. Here's a 3-point attempt. Rebound inside. And Darius Hall gets the putback. And it's a 2-point game. Western may have to foul.
They got no choice. I foul Sura if he gets the ball over here. I foul him. He's the weakest foul shooter. I foul him.
Sura goes baseline and lays it in. No basket. Traveling call before the basket. 21 seconds remaining, and Western down by 2 gets another chance.
Now you got to extend your defense against Western because you can't give them the 3-point shot.
Timeout. Western Kentucky uses 1 of its 3 timeouts remaining.
Why do people really like Toyota?
State has the lead. Western Kentucky has the ball, and Florida State looks like they're pressing full court, Al.
Oh, that's only a token press. They'll give as soon as the ball comes. They want the clock to start. Western might go for 3 points because they're tired, might try to win it all. But if I was Florida State, I'd extend my defense. Don't give them the 3-point shot under any conditions.
Fralix is not the shooter. He's looking for help, and he throws the ball away. Fralix threw the ball away. He was trying to get it to Darius Hall. And now Western calls a timeout. They'll be left with 1, but a critical turnover.
To celebrate Buick's 90th.
Second, anybody, don't care who you hit, you got to hit. That gives you 7 seconds to come back down and score 3 points. good. Let too much off the clock. Let a second and a half off the clock. That's too much time off.
Derek Carroll was fouled. Freshman from Columbia, South Carolina, but he's 2 for 2 from the line. 5.6 seconds. Western Kentucky has 1 timeout remaining. Florida State has 1 timeout left. And if you're wondering, the possession arrow favors Western Kentucky.
This is 6'7". Hope they're holding hands there. Wish you luck, guys, but this guy can shoot, this freshman.
Florida State 17 of 36 from the line. But they've been a little more successful in the overtime period.
He gets 2 shots automatically now. Remember that, because it's after the 10th personal foul. Ooh, he missed the big one.
What this means is that if he hits the free throw, Western Kentucky can still tie it with a 3-point basket.
Yeah, there's plenty of time left. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, 1,004,
but if he had made both,
1,005, it'll be over.
If he had made both, it would have been 4 points, and Western would have been out of luck.
Out, put one guy up.
There's the pass to Robinson, timeout, with 4 seconds to go. And that was a good play because now they will inbound from midcourt.
Good. Ralph Willard is a good coach. I hope Western can maintain him, but that guy is going to the big conferences in time. He knows how to coach.
What has impressed you about Ralph Willard now? You know, Florida State comes from the ACC. They came in second the last 2 years. This is a big-time team that has knocked off some big clubs like Duke. But what has impressed you about the way Ralph Willard has handled? There's the 3-point shooters. Tonight, Western is 6 for 18 with Horn 1 for 3. There is Darren Horn, who has played a marvelous game tonight for Western Kentucky. 17 points, nearly double his season's average.
He'll kick it out and he'll kick it back to Horn. Horn will fake taking the guy down the baseline and drift back out to 3-point land and let it fly.
Western has 1 timeout remaining. And in case of a tie-up, they have the possession arrow in their favor.
Oh, I put a smaller man on Horn at half court. I put a tall man if it was full court down, but half court, I put a smaller man on him.
They got Dobart at 6'9", on Horn 6'4". Fralix, the freshman. Robinson, the freshman. Bunton, the junior. Hall, the sophomore, along with Horn.
I play Western backwards, all of them backwards. Let them have the 2-point basket. Just no 3-point basket. You got a 3-point spread. Play everybody backwards. Everybody on Florida State should be out past the 3-point line. Here it goes back to Horn. But he stepped over the line.
And here's a 3 attempt at the buzzer.
Heartbreak hotel.
How close it was, and Florida State survives a big scare against Western Kentucky. Florida State will advance to the Southeast Regional Final and will play the winner of Kentucky and Wake Forest. Here it is again, and Fralix, the freshman, over to Bunton. And watch this tantalizing bounce.
Ooh, that second one was closer than the first shot.
And Western was courageous, but Florida State advances, and Pat Kennedy gets to the regional final. Me with 21 points, the big man who had fouled out, and so did Bell. So for Al McGuire and Jim Gray, this is Dick Stockton in Charlotte. The final score, Florida State 81, Western Kentucky 78, and the Seminoles moving to Saturday's Southeast Regional Final, where they will meet the winner of the upcoming game between Wake Forest and Kentucky. Our Chevrolet players of the game are Darnell Mee, 21 points for Western Kentucky, and Rodney Dobart with 16 points and 13 boards for Florida State. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports. Stay tuned for more exciting NCAA basketball championship action. So when we see it next, Pat O'Brien will report from our studios in New York. So long, everybody.
Indiana became the first team tonight to advance to the Elite Eight. Florida State advanced as well. Right now, Leslie Visser is standing by with Bobby Knight and Calbert Cheney, I believe. And Leslie, you're on.
I am, Pat. As you said, the #1 team in the country is moving on to the regional final. Congratulations to Bob Knight and Calbert Cheney. Bob, you weren't supposed to dominate inside against such a good rebounding team. What was the difference?
Well, I think we played a lot better in the second half than we did in the first half. We gave up too many points. I told our kids at the first time out that we were going to score 160, but they might score 160. And I think the biggest difference for us
was our defense was a lot better in the second half, and Matt Nover did a great job for us inside.
Denny Crum says what makes Indiana special is that you do it at both ends of the floor. I know happy is a relative term, but were you pleased?
Well, yeah, I had to be pretty pleased with everything except our start in the second half. You know, we've got a 7-point lead, and we'd like to put a little pressure on them by getting into double digits, but we just didn't.
Well, this has to be one of the reasons that you're pleased. The player of the year, and I think, Calvert, a privilege to watch. What were you able to do against Louisville's defense?
We knew that they were very big. They have very good athletes. And all coach wanted to do is drive them, and on their press, just run down or just get down the floor and run. And I think that was to our benefit.
Well, you probably aren't going to like this question, but you can pick your poison. Would you rather face Cal or Kansas, and how's the matchup differ?
Doesn't make any difference. You know, we're just out here to just win a tournament, and that's our only objective.
Well, so far, so good. Do you have any thoughts, Bobby, on whether you'd rather face Cal or Kansas?
I'm just glad we're playing. We at least know we're going to play, and we're pleased with that.
Great. Thank you both. Back to you, Pat.
All right, Leslie, thank you. Good job out there. And what about, how about this without Alan Henderson, who really made a cameo appearance, if anything?
Played 7 first-half minutes. It's amazing what he's been able to do without Alan Henderson and keep this team going as consistently. And Calvert Cheney has been the player of the year, Digger, all year this year. Consistent, 32 points tonight. He just never misses a beat.
I thought the key really was Damon Bailey stepped up in the second half. And before that half, he hit a key three, made a great assist because of his penetration. He penetrates, draws the defense, kicks it out. And credit a lot to Damon Bailey tonight because he's been in a slump.
All right, how about Calvert Cheney tonight, 10 for 12. It just stepped up big tonight.
Been the player of the year all year. He never has a bad game.
So Leslie interviewed Bobby Knight and Calvert Cheney there. Meantime, Al McGuire, I think, had the entire Florida State basketball team with him. Moments ago, we were looking at him on the monitor. Let's all look together now as we go back to Charlotte and see what happened there.
Coach, congratulations. The score was tied at half. What'd you tell these guys?
Well, I certainly didn't tell them to miss all those foul shots, I'll tell you that, Al. We just had to kind of suck it up a little bit defensively. They got a lot of open shots there. When they had to run, we had an 11-point lead. We let them get back in, get ourselves going offensively, stay aggressive, and go inside a lot more. We got it going inside to Douglas before he fouled out.
Bob was the most valuable player. I thought he played an unbelievable game.
Well, I thought in the beginning of the game we did a good job of finding him. We got the ball behind the defense, and Rodney answered. He did a great job on the backboards. This was, however, a great team effort.
Dove, you got the MVP for this ball game. They say if you score 12 points, Florida State wins.
Well, I can't explain that situation, but I'm just happy we won the game.
Well, Rodney, what did you feel at the end of the game? Did you want the ball in your hands?
Well, I just wanted to win the game. At the end of the game, I want to give it to the best scorer on the team, which was Sam and Bob. But if the opportunity is there for me, I definitely take advantage of it.
Bobby, babe, where are you? Bob, you were sat in the bench for quite a while. You had a flat game. Well, what was your feeling when you came back in?
Well, I just want to come back in and contribute as much as I could, and the other guys hung in there. You know, everyone played a great game. This is a great team win for us.
I want to bring in this great quarterback, the most valuable player in the Cotton Bowl. I thought that you played hurt today. I thought that you weren't up to par like you were other games. Is that true?
No, I wasn't hurt, but, you know, I was just trying to neutralize Mark Bell, and it took me out of my game a little bit, but I stuck in there and hung in, and we prevailed.
Well, congratulations to the Elite Eight. You got yourself there. Let me bring in my man over here. Cassell.
Hey.
I knew you were going to drop those foul shots at the end of regulation. You seem to be so positive.
Oh, yeah, I was confident, but it just didn't go today. I got another shot next time, so hopefully I can knock them down.
You know, usually you're smiling and laughing out there all the time. I thought in tonight's game, you didn't have that smile.
I didn't. The game was so intense that when I smile, I messed up, so I decided to take the smile away and concentrate more.
Okay, Seminoles, go get them. Sorry I didn't move you in, big guy. We'll get you next time.
Okay.
Good luck.
They never say hi, Dad. For some reason. I say hi, Ma. I'm Pat O'Brien, along with my partner, Mike Francesa. Digger Phelps has joined us, and Digger's about to give Charlie Ward the Heisman Trophy for next year in football. But how about in basketball?
Well, he does a lot of good things as far as leadership. I like their team. I think this was a big hurdle for them in a close game. Their foul shooting can kill them. But let's understand something. I thought Mark Bell tonight at 5'8", scored 38 points the first 2 games. Tonight he was out of sync. He shoots in the field like 6 for 16, but with 3:13 to go, he forced a couple threes rather than penetrate, and that's what cost them, I think, their momentum.
Mike, you and I have had a discussion about Florida State many times. You never know what team's going to show up. They're a little erratic sometimes.
18 of 38 on the foul line. As Digger said, Mark Bell down the stretch of the game, out of control, fouled out of the ball game. That was a big key. And Western Kentucky got some opportunities late. They just couldn't get it to go down.
Here's the Southeast bracket. Let's take a look at that now. As Florida State advances in the tournament, they'll play the winner of Kentucky and Wake Forest. 10:29 is that tip, and of course we'll be here for that as we cover the tournament here on CBS. Louisville and Indiana. Indiana advanced 82-69 was the final score there. And gentlemen, let's take a look at the Midwest bracket now, as Indiana was the first team tonight to become in the Elite Eight, along with Florida State. They play the winner of California, Kansas. 10:25 is the tip for Cal, Kansas. What about Cal and Kansas, Mike?
Well, I thought that Kansas came in very vulnerable into the tournament. They've played better. I think they've gotten more confident as they've gone along in the tournament with their 2 wins. And Cal, Jason Kidd, and just the emotion, they shot the ball so well, Digger, against Duke. The question is, can they do that again against a experienced veteran Kansas team?
And deeper team, too.
And I'll tell you what, I love Cal's front line. You can talk about Murray, but yet the 3 of them play very, very well. And I think that's a factor because Kansas' front line is not that good this year.
A lot of people are talking about Jason Kidd. When we come back, we'll learn a little more about the new kid on the block as our coverage of the 1993 NCAA tournament rolls on here on CBS. Stay with us.
Unlike other teams competing in this championship,